Hi everybody. Today's project is going to be building a fishing pole holder. We recently moved into our new house and the garage is packed full, and I've got some fishing poles here that need a home, and I've got plenty of space up on the ceiling here. So we're going to build a fishing pole holder to put them up on the ceiling, and we're doing this during Hurricane Milton. This is the weather outdoors right now, so not terrible, lots of rain, but not much we can do outside, so we're gonna head over to the workshop and build a fishing pole holder. All right, well, welcome to my workshop. So it's a small 12 by 16 shed, but it's slowly gonna be converted into a workshop. So far I just have most of my stuff just crammed in here, so I have somewhere to store it, but planning to build some cabinets, some workbenches, and try and get all my tools where they're usable so I can build whenever I want to. Look outside again, we've got a little bit of rain going. Nothing too major, but wind's starting to pick up a little, so should be fun. But let me get you guys set up over here, and you can follow along. Well, the first thing we're going to do is cut these spigots down. I'm cutting a 3-inch wide piece and a 4-inch wide piece. The 4-inch wide will be for the ceiling. The 3-inch will be the part that comes down for the fishing poles to hang on. If you notice, I did a great job of getting my PPE ready. I've got my mask on, but put the glasses on my head, but forgot to pull them down over my eyes, so they're not doing any good there. And next we're going to cut it to length. You can cut yours to any length that you need, depending on how many poles you have. Now over to the miter saw station, where I'm going to cut these boards down to 66 inches. Looking forward to one of my future projects here to build a miter saw station. As you can see in this cut, the board ends up taking off on me because I don't have any support on the end. Now we're moving over to the workbench, where we're going to take the 3-inch wide board and we're going to mark the center of the board. The reason we're marking the center of the board here is to give us a reference on where to drill the holes for the fishing poles. As you can see, I'm using my level. It's the longest straight edge that I have in the shop. Now we're going to mark where we want to drill the holes with the Forstner bits to hold the poles. I started off at 2 inches, then I'm measuring 6 inches between each hole. That should give me plenty of space for the reels on each of my poles. Here I'm getting out some scrap wood and raising the boards off of the workbench so that I can drill some holes in without drilling into the workbench. And then we're clamping this piece down to the workbench so it doesn't move while we're drilling. Looks like I did not hit record for the larger holes, but you see me here drilling out the smaller holes where the tip of the rods will go in. This is a 1-inch bit that I'm using here, and the larger holes were drilled with a 2-inch bit. These bits were Harbor Freight special, and unfortunately turned out to not be very good bits. You can see by the tear out, but they cleaned up nice with a router in just a minute. It looks like it's time to clean up a little bit because these Forstner bits definitely make a mess. So just cleaning some things up, going to get the vacuum out and pick up some of these chips. If anyone has any suggestions for a good dust extraction system for a small workshop, I would definitely be interested. Please leave it in the comments. In order for the fishing poles to fit in the smaller holes, you've got to cut out a channel for the pole to slide into. So I'm using this small can to trace out lines where I'm going to cut a groove for the pole to slide up into. Now it's time to cut out those channels with the jigsaw. So I'm raising it up off the workbench so I don't cut into the workbench. Clamping it down with some clamps so it doesn't move around on me. I'm using a jigsaw here with a scroll blade to cut those channels out for the fishing poles. I did a much better job here with my safety glasses, even though the humidity was so high and caused it to fog up almost instantly. I recently picked up this DeWalt router. I'm still learning how to use it, but I have a round over bit in it, just cleaning up some of the edges. Any tips that anyone has for how to use it would be greatly appreciated. It was about this point at which I realized going in a clockwise direction with the router on the inside of the circles made a much cleaner cut. With all the edges all rounded over, it's time for a quick sand. I'm using 120 grit sandpaper here and just trying to knock off any of the rough edges. found one hole here I missed with the router. Okay, maybe more than one. Now it's time to do a little work on the base. Just a quick sand and a round over on the edges, and it should be ready to go. I don't know why they put staples in into wood, but I guess it's better than stickers on the face. Time for another quick cleanup, and then it's time to assemble these. Now that things are cleaned up a little bit, it's time to mark some assembly holes. I'm marking the outer holes at 2 inches in, and then evenly spacing the other 2 holes. Now that all the assembly holes are marked, I'm drilling these holes with a countersinking drill bit kit that I found on Amazon. And now with the assembly holes completed, it's time to mark some mounting holes that will be used to mount these to the ceiling. With all the humidity in the air from the hurricane, these glasses are fogging up like mad, so time to take those off so I can see what I'm doing. Now that all the holes are drilled, it is time to start the assembly process. I am assembling these fishing pole holders with some Type-On glue, original, and some 1-inch screws. I'm using my fingers, my paint spreader. I heard a rumor that someone out there was trying to patent that, but couldn't find it when I searched the patent office. After getting these all glued up and clamped in the right spot, I realized that I have assembled it backwards. The holes for the assembly are on the opposite side, so I'm going to take this back apart and start over again. With that, assembly is complete. Just got to clean up a little bit of glue, squeeze out, and they are ready to install. It's a quick hurricane update. So the rain's coming down a lot harder now, and a little bit of wind, nothing major, but quite a bit of rain. So hopefully that's all we see, and hopefully it stays under flood levels. It's time for installation. I am not mounting these permanent, as we're going to need to redo the ceiling eventually. So I'm just putting a couple in the studs and calling it good for now. Once I redo the ceiling, we'll mount these properly with drywall anchors and such. Well, that one's gone. Who needs a ladder? If you've made it this far in the video, take a minute to hit that subscribe button so you'll get notified for future videos. My favorite part of all projects is putting it to use. Looks like all my poles are going to fit properly, and I have a little extra room to get a few more now. Thank you for watching this episode of Wade's Workshop. This was my first video. I am a beginner woodworker. I've been buying tools and trying to learn how to use them, and have a long way to go. If you have any suggestions for the channel, please put them in the comments. I've got a few ideas coming up where I'd like to purchase plans from other woodworkers and attempt to make them and show basically how a beginner does on some of these plans. If you have suggestions on plans to buy or things that you'd like to see me make, put them in the comments. I also am on X or Twitter, and I'm also on Facebook if you'd like to follow there and see some of the things I've already made and suggest things there as well. Thank you.